If black men were being the men that our community needs, would there be a SUKIHANA or a SEXYY? The circumstances that gave rise to those two beautiful black women having to engage in the art form that they are in order to take care of themselves and their children, those circumstances that gave birth to this reality would have never been allowed to fester.
And it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault.
I think black men are literally the only race of men that will come on social media and stab each other in the back for a dime. And this is the guy that the black community paints as one of our leaders.
The black woman out-earns and out-educates your mate. What power do we have over you? What I'm saying is, we do got issues, don't get me wrong. This serial monogamy going on, where black men are dating too many women, spread diseases and babies. Gonorrhea and chlamydia, herpes and AIDS, warts, HPV, crabs, lice, scabies, and coon bugs.
And nobody ever checks him. In recent years, one of the most dangerous and divisive narratives spreading in our community is the idea that heterosexual black men are the primary drivers of HIV in the black community. The talking point shifts depending on the argument, but the latest movement of the goalpost says if heterosexual black men got tested more, their HIV numbers would be higher. That is not only misleading, it is scientifically inaccurate. And today, we're going to look at the actual numbers, break down who's the most affected, and talk about why blaming straight black men for the HIV crisis is dishonest, divisive, and harmful to our collective health. For starters, yes, men in general go to the doctor less than women. That's not news. But the CDC's HIV numbers are not based only on people who walk into a clinic for a test. The CDC and state health departments use a three-pronged surveillance system. The first one is confirmed laboratory reports of HIV diagnosis. The second, anonymous population testing surveys. And number three, mathematical modeling to account for people who are HIV positive but undiagnosed.
Modeling is a process that uses math to represent, analyze, make predictions, or otherwise provide insight into real-world phenomena.
When you're analyzing and looking at the models and everything, you get to see how these numbers are used.
That means the official statistics already adjust for under-testing. Rankings between groups remain the same even after accounting for undiagnosed cases. If testing frequency alone determined HIV prevalence, then heterosexual men in all races would have artificially low numbers, but that's not what the data shows. So let's talk facts. In 2022, black men who have sex with men, they were responsible for 8,828 new diagnoses, which accounted for 35% of all male HIV diagnoses in the US, despite black men being a small minority of the US population. Black women accounted for 3,181 new diagnoses, the highest rate among all female racial groups. And lastly, heterosexual black men accounted for 1,518 new diagnoses, which is less than half the cases among black women and far below MSM numbers. To put it another way, from the small portion of black men who are gay, bisexual, or otherwise MSM, a group representing only 39% of the 1.2 million black LGBTQ adults, you get over a third of all new male HIV diagnoses nationwide. HIV prevalence isn't about population size, it's about transmission networks and risk behaviors. MSM sexual contact carries a far higher transmission risk than heterosexual contact because of biological factors and network clustering. When MSM behavior overlaps with heterosexual contact, for example, a man having sex with both men and women without disclosure, the risk spills over into heterosexual women's infection rates. That's one major reason why black women rank between MSM and heterosexual black men in the HIV diagnosis numbers. And to address the down low standpoint, yes, down low exists, but it's overstated and often weaponized. Among men who have sex with men, research shows about 20% identify as DL, but they're not all black. White MSMs still make up the largest group of MSM nationally. The DL stereotype is used far more aggressively against heterosexual black men than any other group, despite the numbers showing a different reality. But here's what doesn't get talked about. The majority of black LGBTQ adults are women, 61% versus 39%. Bisexual women are the largest single subgroup in the LGBTQ population nationwide. Black women have the highest HIV diagnosis rate of any female demographic. This means we cannot honestly talk about HIV in our community without acknowledging these things. The role of MSM to female transmission, the sexual networks between bisexual women and men, and the fact that straight black men are not driving the epidemic. Let's use Harris County, i.e. Houston, Texas, as a case study. Between 2016 and 2022, black women in Harris County were diagnosed with HIV at 1 in every 156 black women, compared to 1 in 1,080 for Hispanic women and 1 in 2,146 for white women. Over half of new HIV diagnoses in Texas in that period were among young black women. The highest prevalent zip codes match areas with high MSM populations and known STI hotspots. So again, heterosexual black men were not the majority transmitters. You've heard the insults. Most black men are gay. If he goes to the gym, he's on the down low. If he played football, he's suspect. These aren't just ignorant, they're dangerous. They erode the distrust between black men and black women, distract from real HIV prevention strategies, and stigmatize HIV to the point where people avoid even talking about it. We can't fight HIV if we keep turning it into a gender war weapon. Here is what actually works. Regular testing at least once a year, more if you have multiple partners. PrEP and PEP reduces risk by up to 99%. So ask your primary healthcare provider about it. Condoms are still a frontline defense, and also having honest conversations about HIV status before intimacy. And lastly, treatment equals prevention. An undetectable viral load means no sexual transmission. So in closing, if we care about black health, black love, and black unity, we have to commit to the truth. Most black men are heterosexual. HIV rates in our community are disproportionately high, but they are not driven by straight black men. Gay and bisexual men, particularly men who have sex with men who also have sex with women, are a major factor in women's risk, particularly black women. And also, black women themselves are part of the HIV equation, not just victims of it. So let's stop recycling myths, stop targeting heterosexual black men, and start holding everyone accountable. The virus does not care about your talking points, and neither should the truth. But like I said, when I seen the video, it's about that time that we did something. And after we watch this video, I'm gonna explain to you why this type of rhetoric is harmful to the black community, black families, black relationships, everything that has to do with black people, this affects.
I ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If black men were being the men that our community need, would there be a SUKIHANA or a Sexy Red?
Why not?
They wouldn't
Let's
exist.
elaborate before we. Why
The
not?
circumstances that gave rise to those two beautiful black women having to engage in the art form that they are in order to take care of themselves and their children, those circumstances that gave birth to this reality would have never been allowed to fester. Men control the structure and the set boundaries. We don't do that. And if we're going to say we can at least be responsible for the boys, if we're going to tell black women that we can't do nothing with our boys, what else should she be willing to trust us with?
Do you push that off on? What about the boy's father?
Okay,
You
here's the
push it
problem
to
with
the
that.
community, right?
First
What
of all,
about his
that's-
father?
Okay, that's not our culture. Our culture is collectivism. If you're not there, I got to be. It's that simple. The reasons don't even matter. He ain't there. I got to take his place. I am because we are. We are because I am.
The narrative that most black men are deadbeat fathers is not just misleading, it's mathematically false. Today, we're about to dismantle that myth with verified data from the CDC, NCHS, Pew Research, and Bowling Green State University. Here's the truth that most people in the black community don't know. 54% of black men have never fathered a child. That's right, the majority. Of the 46% who have fathered children, 55% are co-residential. They live with their children full time. 100%. That means that nearly 80% of black men either don't have children or they actually live with their children 100% of the time. Let that sink in, black community. This completely destroys that tired stereotype that black men are abandoning their kids. Now, let's shift our focus to black women. I'm pretty sure you probably heard that 69.3% of births to black women are out of wedlock.
Number one, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers.
Absent fathers. Absent fathers.
But here's the catch. That doesn't mean that all those fathers are deadbeats, or even that there are 69.3% of black men involved. This is a case of mathematical misunderstanding. When you look at it closely, this stat reflects an inverse ratio, a disproportionate number of women having children with a small number of men. In fact, black women have given birth to more children than black men have fathered, both among married and unmarried groups, to the tune of 1 million more children having been born to unmarried black women than unmarried black men have fathered. 645,170 more children have been born to married black women than married black men have fathered. So what does that mean? It means a small pool of men are fathering multiple children across multiple households, and women are repeatedly choosing them.
Jay is here also, and we also have 5 other men. These men collectively have 87 children with 50 different women.
With 50 different women.
That is 137 people who are impacted by choices and decisions that you've made. No heat, no judgment.
And black women are repeatedly choosing them. And I know the next question is, well, what about involvement? CDC studies consistently show that black fathers who are present are the most involved.
If you're African American, there's about 1 in 2 chance you grow up without a father in your house.
In fact, the overwhelming majority of black fathers live with their children. Now, in general in this country, fathers who live with our kids, and this blasts all the stereotypes, across races, virtually all of us, it's about 98%, take care of our kids in all the major ways every day of the week or at least several days a week. And that includes bathing, feeding, helping them with homework, talking to them about their day. And among that group, black dads are the most involved.
In such categories like feeding, reading to their children, attending school events, and providing emotional support. So to summarize, being unmarried does not equal being uninvolved. And also, fathering a child does not equal being a deadbeat. This is not an epidemic of absent fathers. It's a misunderstanding of data and a failure to recognize patterns of selective mate choice. If 54% of black men are childless and 55% of the fathers live with their kids, then who are we really talking about when we say black men are deadbeats? We're talking about a very small group of black men who continue to be chosen again and again. Often the least stable, least committed, and most problematic. So let's stop pretending that the entire black male population is the problem. The issue is a pattern of mating and reproductive choices that's gone unaddressed in the black community. Yes, the focus needs to be on black women and how primitive they mate select. According to the CDC's National Health Survey, 61% of black women between the ages of 15 to 44 have ever given birth to a child. That's 6.4 million women. But 69.3% of those births were outside of marriage. So just like with the men, most of these children were born out of wedlock. I'll leave you guys with this. The black community deserves the truth, not tired tropes. It's time we retire the deadbeat dad myth because the numbers tell a different story. One of commitment, presence, and responsibility by the majority of black men. Let's hold individuals accountable, but let's stop slandering the collective. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to talk more honestly about the mate selection of black women and the expectations that we have of them and dismantle broken home cycles. Our families are too important to allow lies to lead the conversation about black fatherhood. Dr. Umar made it seem like black men are just Neanderthals, running around here spreading diseases, just cheating, all this type of stuff. And y'all don't see a problem with that? And this is supposed to be a guy that we consider a leader in the black community? To get up on that stage and say that about black men in front of black women, that is embarrassing. Every time that I do these types of videos, I don't want that small minority of black women to feel that I'm sitting there directly trying to attack them. It's just the fact that in order to protect the black male ethnic image from people like Dr. Umar, we have to level set the conversation. And the reason why this is important is because this is the main reason why black women don't respect black men as a whole right now, because they've all believed this lie. And when we have Dr. Umar perpetuating this lie and he keeps pushing this narrative, we're going to get every generation of black women feeling that this is the same way. And that's why we can't partner with black women, because of the fact that they believe that all black men are less than. And at that point, can you blame them? If they've been told that black men got scabies and lice and they've, carrying all these diseases, y'all out earn us, you're more educated than us, we got all these kids running around, why would you respect the class of men that had all of that working against you? So black women, I don't think as a whole, they don't understand how that's affecting them long term, but I do. I look at the statistics. I see that black men's interracial marriage rates has increased to 1 in 5 married black men. Black men aren't dealing with this shit no more. This is a new wave of free-thinking black men, and I don't think the black community is ready for that. These black men over here have stopped responding. They're just doing. And with Dr. Umar spreading this type of rhetoric to every black woman, you seen how did you hear the crowd when he started going off, about all those STDs? They weren't saying, no, that's not true. They were cheering him on. So ask yourself, everybody in the chat, ask yourself, what if the reverse was said about your women? And we was going around there saying this, would you respect our group of women? No. And that's why this hurts black relationships, black marriages, just our friendship alone in the black community. Because we got so-called leaders like Dr. Umar putting this message out there. And that's why it's important. Dr. Umar is an educated man. So for him to sit there and say that about his fellow man, that's embarrassing. Only a man of low integrity could sit there and compromise his fellow man just to gain favor from black women so they can keep funding his so-called school.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I am a school psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. In addition to that, I hold degrees in political science and education. I am here at the historic St. Paul's College. This beautiful campus, 135 acres of which I hope to make the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy for African children.
Because after we open up Fred Douglass, Marcus Garvey, Envy, it's going to be the Anna Douglas and Amy Garvey. We can't leave out the girls. A lot of women come at me, especially the feminists. They say, why are you not talking about the girls? Well, guess what? If I save your son, I'm saving the girls, because he's going to be a strong black man who could be a husband to somebody's daughter. But we're not going to leave out the girls. We're going to open up the Anna Douglas, Amy Garvey. We have 2 buildings. The Frederick Douglass building, that's the high school. Modern gym, modern schools. These are not old schools. These are modern. Marcus Garvey building is right across the street. They face each other. So because we have 2 school buildings instead of 1, there's a very strong chance that we may start educating our girls in the Anna Douglas Amy Garvey Academy at the same time that we educate our boys, because we have the 2 schools. But even if we don't start the girls at the same time we start the boys, we will be evolving to the Girls Academy as well. That was always a part of my plan. I just didn't think we would be so blessed as to end up with 2 different. Plumbing is just about done. They got 1 more piece. Fire alarm is done. They got to check 1 more piece to that. The monitoring system is done. I'm hoping by the end of the calendar year we can get our inspection and have a grand opening in February.
I should be choosing the colors for the paint real soon, so we'll be doing the paint day in the next couple of weeks, so that won't be a big deal. Right now, it's about the rugs and the carpet, so it's just a lot of little things, but it's not much. The grand opening for the community is still going to be next year. We might just do it on Festival Day, Bob and David. I'm thinking about just doing the festival and the grand opening all in the same weekend.
That would be in September?
Yes, sir.
I want the food already growing when the children start school next August. Not this August, next August. I already want the crops.
We're going to take food to the elders. We're going to have our own farmers market right there on FDMG campus.
So let's talk about what really happened to Dr. Umar Johnson's Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, better known as FDMG. Despite years of announcements, the school never officially opened. The property in Wilmington, Delaware has sat vacant since Dr. Umar purchased it back in 2019. By mid-2025, reports surfaced that FDMG was in serious trouble. Around August 2025, Dr. Umar himself went online saying the academy was facing a sheriff's auction because of unpaid vacant property fees and accumulated bills. Several black media outlets covered his plea for supporters to help save the property. Now, here's the key point. There's no public record proving that the academy was ever sold. Delaware's Newcastle County Sheriff's sale listings for that period don't show any completed sale for the FDMG property. So while it was at risk, there's no verified evidence that the campus actually changed hands. On top of that, nonprofit filings show FDMG reported zero revenue and no staff for 2024, meaning the organization wasn't operating as a functional school. So as of right now, November 2025, the truth is this: the FDMG Academy never opened. It faced possible auction this past summer, but there's no confirmed sale on record. It still exists on paper, but not as an active educational institution.